What's going on, everyone? I am back with more RPGaDay 2018. I've got Linus and O'Neill, so the cat cam is running. And today is August 22nd, which means the topic of the day is what non-dice RPG appeals to you? Unfortunately, I'm not the best equipped to answer this question because I would say about 98% of my RPG experience is all in systems that don't just use dice, they kind of rely on them heavily. D&D, Star Wars, Pathfinder, all that stuff, the core mechanic is if you want to do something, roll the dice to find out if you win at it. However, I have played one-shots for two diceless systems, and those are the Quiet Year and Amber. And I really want to play more Amber, however, I know much less about it than the Quiet Year, so while it appeals to me, I don't have enough information to make a full episode of this video about it. So I'm going to ramble a little bit about the Quiet Year. And the Quiet Year appeals to me because it's a very interesting take for the folks who have only played games like D&D, where you are a character. Here is your stats. There's a cat licking itself. In D&D, it's here's your character, here's your stats, roll the dice. This is, you control this person, and the GM or DM controls the world. However, with the Quiet Year, you have a deck of cards, and the concept is you are a post-apocalyptic civilization, and this is the final year of your existence. Right? So all of the players together affect the fate of this town, this communion, this civilization, whatever it is in your game, and you draw cards out of a deck to determine events. I will link the Quiet Year information below, and I will try to find the tables. It's been a while since I played it, but I know there was a table breaking down what the different cards did. But you basically shuffle a deck of cards, and then each week is represented by a card, and things can happen. Each card normally has choices. You can have a new person arrive in your community, but it creates a conflict, or a conflict can arise that determines that somebody needs to be exiled from your community. Things like that. And once again, you're not controlling individual characters. It doesn't matter how many players you're having, you are all controlling the community. Well, controlling is the wrong word there. You're all affecting the final year of this community. And so we played on Roll20, and the core concept of the game is you make drawings that represent each of these actions. So you draw a card, and then you pick the way to describe what's happening on your choice. So we'll go back to my example of a conflict arose that somebody needs to be exiled from the community, right? So I drew this card and I say, well, the primary religion for our civilization has always been that we worship this god. However, a small group, fearing that the Frost Shepherds are going to be here at the end of the year, have decided to start worshiping them, and they have created this new church, which is creating dissension among the community, because now we have two different religions that people can choose from, and they directly conflict with each other. So the leader of this religion hasn't been sentenced to death, but they have been exiled from the community, right? So that is what I described for that card, but then I must represent that with some sort of drawing on the communal map's not the right word, but we'll go with map. So in Roll20, I would have drawn that out somehow. I could have drawn a picture of a church and then put an X through it to just to be super simple, and then a stick figure and an arrow leading out of the community. But things also happen that change what resources are in abundance, what is current scarcity, and how the overall morale of the town is going. And I'm not going to be able to fit all of the description of this game into a 3 to 5 minute video where my cat licks itself, but it's a really interesting system, and I think it's appealing to me because it completely doesn't share any common factors of D&D. Normally when I'm describing an RPG, I can go, oh well, Star Wars does things this way, which is kind of like when you get a critical hit in D&D, or Numenera does things this way, which is kind of like a Numenera glaive is kind of like a fighter or a warlord in D&D. I can always relate an RPG back to another one, but the Quiet Year and my experience with the Quiet Year was absolutely unique. I can't draw any concrete parallels between it and other systems. So that's going to be my answer for today, for day 22. What non-dice RPG appeals to you? I'm going to go with the Quiet Year because it is a very simple, very easy to learn, unique, interesting role-playing game where the players all come together to tell the story of the final year of this post-apocalyptic community. And so it is a community storytelling game and not just role-playing a character.